All right, so let's get this straight. Patrick Mahomes is clearly the best quarterback in the NFL, right?
Facts.
There's no debate there. But after Patrick Mahomes, things get pretty interesting. You got Lamar Jackson, you got Josh Allen, you've got
Joe Burrow.
Even Joe Burrow. 3 absolute studs with the legit case of being QB2 in the league.
So we're on a mission to discover who really is the second best quarterback in the NFL. We're taking all of these 3 quarterbacks and we're gonna rank them 1, 2, and 3 across 8 different categories. If you get first place, it's 3 points, second place, 2 points, and third place, 1 point. And at the very end, we're gonna add it all up, and we're going to solve the NFL's biggest mystery.
Who is the second best quarterback in the NFL?
Let's see what happens.
A lot of people say this category might make or break a quarterback. We have clutchness.
Ooh, already starting off with clutchness.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And I already have one in mind. There was no debate there. I had Joe Burrow.
Yep, I completely agree with number 1. He's the only guy to have beaten Patrick Mahomes in overtime or at the end of the fourth quarter in a 1-score game. I think Joe Burrow is Joe Cool. Cool equals clutch. Joe Burrow is him, bro.
He's calm under pressure, known for game-winning drives, and he has like that late-game poise to him.
He does.
I think he also led 2021. He was ranked as the #1 quarterback under pressure in 2021 as well.
Yeah, I also think that the other quarterbacks are not really known for their clutch gene, and they're known for not getting their team over the line. Joe Burrow has done it. He's got to the Super Bowl, and he's done it beating Patrick Mahomes and the other best quarterbacks in the NFL with a very weak team around him. I think Joe Burrow is the most clutch quarterback for sure in the fourth quarter. Who do I want? I want Joe Cool.
All right, cool. So we both agree with Joe Burrow's #1. So
Yeah.
now we're going to do number 2 and 3. So between Josh Allen and Lamar, who do you guys number 2 for clutchness?
Number 2, it's close, but I'm putting Josh Allen at number 2.
I totally agree with you.
I think that Josh Allen can be clutch against anyone except Mahomes, but he's still decently clutch enough. I would say he's still not a game loser for them, not a lot of the time. Whereas Lamar Jackson in the third spot, I've seen him choke a lot of times. And to me, he's a regular season merchant. And when it comes down to the fourth quarter in the playoffs, he is known for his play and his scoring capabilities taking a huge, huge hit. And I just can't see the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I just don't think he's that clutch.
You know, Josh Allen actually leads the league since 2022 in red zone turnovers.
Wow.
But he has had a lot of clutch moments. And like what you said with Lamar, I think that if someone's going to lose a game, there's a lot of times where instead of on the Ravens, it's on Lamar. And I can't really remember in recent memory of a lot of games where like the Bills lost because of Josh Allen, you know?
Yeah, I think Josh Allen has that turnover. Like, that's part of his game. But when I think of like Lamar Jackson, I do not associate him with game-winning drives, playoff moments. I just don't do that.
The one thing I will shout out for him is that one game he had to take a shit and came back and won the game. That was pretty cool. Yeah. And next we have arm strength. You want to say it on the count of 3?
Yeah. One, two, three.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen by far has the strongest arm. He
In the
was
entire
drafted purely off of his arm strength. He was known for when he got drafted to be the most raw prospect of the entire draft. He was big, can run, and can launch that football. So I think it's pretty obvious. Josh Allen is the biggest candidate in the whole group there.
Yeah, I like when that motherfucker just says fuck it and just chucks it like 80 yards and shit. That's
Problem is, that's when a lot of the interceptions happen. But the power is there. I wish he had like a really good X receiver to like go and get that deep ball. Because a lot of his guys like Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper, Mac Hollins, they're not those big X deep receivers, but he can launch, especially it comes into play a lot. Like that play with Dalton Kincaid, that weird play against the Chiefs where he was about to get sacked and he just launched it deep to Kincaid. Like he has that capability to just yuck that rock.
Number 2, I have Joe Burrow. A lot of deep balls to Jamar. I don't know. I just feel like Lamar's not known for his deep ball passing,
Yep, I agree. I think Joe Burrow, a big part of his game is, fuck it, Jamar Chase down there somewhere, and he can launch that thing. Jamar Chase, I think, has the most 40-plus yard touchdowns out of any receiver in the NFL. So that doesn't happen if you don't have arm strength. And Joe Burrow's a pocket passer old school. He doesn't have a cannon, but as a pocket passer, he is able to put that ball in any position, and I think when it comes to arm strength, he is definitely the second best.
Next, who do you have number 1 for accuracy?
Number 1 in accuracy, I have Joe Burrow. He, to me, is the most accurate quarterback for sure because, again, pocket passer, his entire style of play is put the ball on the money in their hands, and he's consistently done that in the entire league. He has one of the highest completion percentages in the NFL year in, year out with a bad offensive line, with bad receivers, and it's not like he's taking, passing dump offs all the time to his tight ends or his running backs. He has 2 big receivers but he's consistently throwing over 15 yards per catch for them. So for me, he has the most accuracy by far.
I think he's like actually like one of the best like short and mid game passers, if I'm not mistaken. Very accurate there. I remember checking on Madden, and his short game passing was just like,
Yeah.
I think the best.
He's one of the fastest release times in the entire league, too.
Oh, really?
From ball snap to conversion, yeah. Number 2, I have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is known for also, he doesn't launch the ball deep, but he's very accurate in his like middle to low range. He has 2 tight ends. A lot of his receivers, like Zay Flowers, they have a lot of screen plays. So what do you see from Lamar Jackson? Never really putting the ball in harm's way, in risk's way, unlike Josh Allen, where Josh Allen will just take chances. Whereas Lamar Jackson is more calculated, more shallow, which means to me he has better accuracy.
I agree. I have Lamar Jackson number 2, and then Josh Allen number 3. Having good arm strength is pretty cool, but it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
So always overthrowing, and then a lot of turnovers too. So very careless with the ball in some instances,
Definitely. I would say Josh Allen's not even a top 6 or 7 accurate in the entire NFL. He's so talented in so many ways, but unfortunately accuracy is like not one of them.
Wow. So we're
Pretty aligned so far.
3 of the 8, and we're fully agree with each other. I think this one we're gonna agree with too. For next we have mobility.
Yeah, this one should be bang, bang, bang.
Lamar Jackson, best running quarterback probably in quarterback
In history. It's literally him and Michael Vick, but he's better.
Yeah. And then next is just Josh Allen.
Yep.
Take the second best available.
Bulldog.
And then Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. Like, if you watch football, Lamar Jackson, the whole joke is he's a running back. Why? Because he literally plays quarterback like a running back or a wide receiver. He's so athletic, so agile, so fast. Josh Allen is more that Cam Newton, like, will run you over, run you down, and can escape the pocket and just somehow always get forward progress. Whereas Joe Burrow actually has sneaky wheels to him. Against the Giants, he had a 50-yard rushing touchdown.
I was playing against Joe Burrow in fantasy against that game, and I think he did absolute jack shit after that rush, but yeah, like 50 yards. But
he has wheels, but not like the other 2 guys.
And then next we have like durability, like who's tough, who like stays in the game when they're hurt, who has like that steal on them.
Yeah, this one's tough because I think all 3 of them have a case for number 1. I put 2 of them really in that top tier. For me, I think Joe Burrow's number 1 in this sense.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's the strongest guy, but there's so many games I'm watching him where he gets hurt or he gets injured or whatever, and he just stays in there. He has also, out of the 3 of them, he has the worst offensive line consistently, and he is sitting in there. He barely ever misses a game, and if he does, it's like, it is unfortunate, but if I think I need a warrior to go out there and like play through anything, I'm taking Joe Burrow personally at number 1.
All right. I have it completely flipped around. I have Josh Allen for number 1.
Okay.
He's played through several games of injuries and without missing like any significant time.
Yeah.
He actually played with a fractured left hand the first game of last season against the Cardinals. That was his only like big injury, and he actually played through it. And then he also dropped like 37 points.
There you go.
On the Cardinals. So, just an absolute tough dog. And despite how like him and Lamar rush a lot too, like they both stay in the game a lot.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy,
Yeah. I think Lamar's definitely only 3 because I've seen Tyler Huntley weirdly play a lot of football, but I typically don't see Josh Allen's backup ever in the game. I've seen Jake Browning time to time for the Bengals, so I'm not mad with you having Josh Allen at 1, and I feel comfortable putting Josh at 1 and Joe Burrow at 2.
You want to do Josh Allen at 1?
Yeah, I'm down for Josh at 1.
All right, Josh.
I think both have a good case.
Yeah.
But I'm comfortable going with Josh.
All right, so locking in Josh Allen 1, Joe Burrow 2, Lamar 3.
Yeah.
And this one's interesting. I chose an interesting route for this one. Football IQ. I took Lamar here.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not going. I think it's Joe Burrow number 1. I think Lamar's number 2, but I think Josh is number 3.
I have Burrow at 2. I just think Lamar is a very underrated passer when it comes to IQ. I know like sometimes there's turnovers, fumbles, whatever it is, but like the decision making he has for like especially like the regular season.
Yeah.
I just think it's off the charts. And then next would be Joe Burrow, and then Josh Allen. Like I think you can put like Justin Herbert in between them too, and like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
But I just think Lamar doesn't get recognized enough for his IQ in the game.
Yeah, I think he doesn't get recognized enough, which is fair. He's underrated. But Joe Burrow's entire game is like intelligence and accuracy. Like he doesn't have the legs Lamar Jackson has. Lamar can make a bad play call or make a bad audible and just run his way out of it. Joe Burrow has to put the ball on the spot, read protections. He can't go anywhere. He's like a sitting duck for a lot of these defensive lines. And again, when it comes to like, I will always take the accurate pocket passer who has to like handle a lot of protections, a lot of that kind of stuff compared to Lamar Jackson, where he doesn't have to rely on his IQ because there's athleticism.
Yeah.
So for me, I would like to put Joe Burrow at 1 here, but I think there's arguments for both sides. I think that Lamar Jackson is inherently smart. You have to be a 2-time MVP, of course. I also think that when it comes to IQ, like, playoffs matter. And for example, against the Bills, he turned the ball over twice in the first half. To me, that's IQ. It's hard to really trust in those big moments, and for some reason, I attach intelligence to what that is.
I agree with that. I had Joe Burrow there, and then I switched to that last minute. I'm like, you know what? Let me just come in with a hot take today.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll take Joe Burrow, then Lamar, then Josh Allen. And next, this is an interesting one because we have 3 leaders, but which one, if you're an NFL player and you had a chance to play with any of these 3 quarterbacks, which quarterback do you want on your team with this?
This might be a hot take. I actually would have Lamar maybe at 1 here. I think Lamar is known for his press conferences, his communication style, his relatability. I have never seen as many teammates talk about their quarterback as much as I've seen Ravens talk about Lamar Jackson. Every press conference, I feel like his players are supporting him, and he's a 2-time MVP. So I think Lamar is number 1 leader. Go.
Yeah, never takes the credit when they win.
Always takes accountability when they lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just something that a good leader has,
Yeah. I think I would put Joe Burrow too here because I think that in those moments, he's a player that his whole team, he single-handedly carries the Bengals, and his team looks at him as in score 35 or 40 points or we will lose. We rely on you. And he's always been Joe Cool. That's leadership. Being calm, being under pressure. That is what he's known for his calmness. I'm putting Joe Burrow too. Josh Allen I'm putting at 3 only because I, for whatever reason, don't think he's someone that players follow in that way. I don't know. I have never heard not even that it's a bad thing that he's not a good leader. I'm not saying that he's not a good leader, but with the other 2 quarterbacks, you always hear about their leadership or their aura, all these different things.
He's just a natural good dude who's good at football.
He's a really good guy. He's a good football player, but nothing about him, in my opinion, instills that feeling. Whereas I visibly seen Lamar Jackson's teammates put him on that pedestal, and you said he's maybe the best press conferences of all time. The way he handles himself. Joe Burrow, yeah, I think it's Lamar, Joe, and Josh in that order.
Cool. I had Joe, Lamar, Josh. We can put Lamar there just for the shits.
Okay.
And then the last topic we have, this one might be on the same page, playoffs. Number 1, I have Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
He's a proven winner in the playoffs and Super Bowl appearance. That matters.
Yep.
And then also why he's number 1 and the other ones aren't is that Josh and Lamar, you talked about this earlier, they can't get over the Patrick Mahomes hump.
They can't. And who has Joe Burrow?
Just that one guy.
Yep.
So, and that takes a lot, beating
him at Arrowhead in overtime, that takes a lot out of you.
And then next I have Josh Allen. Pretty much stats, just has a better playoff record. And then Lamar, he's the only 2-time MVP to have a losing playoff record. You know?
Lamar Jackson has as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott. As a Cowboys fan, I know that tells you a lot about Lamar Jackson's playoff capability. And Josh Allen has the ability as well to where his play actually rises. He may not always win, but his play rises in the playoffs. He plays better in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson isn't. If you've ever seen his point per game differential in the playoffs and non-playoffs, it is starkly different. His team scores more than a touchdown less in the playoffs, which is really, really bad. And he has to take accountability for that. So I agree with you on your list, 100%. Joe, Josh, Lamar.
It's like Aaron Judge in the postseason.
Oh, worst player in history, bro. That error against the Dodgers will haunt him forever.
And then also I look at it as you think these guys are all in the AFC, so they all have to. One of them has to come across Mahomes at one point to get there. If you take Mahomes completely out of the equation and you're just doing it based off of Burrow, Allen, Lamar, and then another team are the top 4 teams left in the AFC, who's going to beat who? And I think it would go down as Joe Burrow can beat Lamar or Josh Allen. Then Josh Allen would lose to Joe Burrow, but then beat Lamar. And I think Lamar wouldn't beat either of the two.
Yeah,
if
he
it came
could,
to,
but I wouldn't bet. I would not bet on it.
Yeah, if it came to that.
The thing is, all 3 of these quarterbacks are all amazing. The thing is, all 3 are so good. I think the biggest difference is those that 4th quarter, that playoffs, because during the regular season, they're all gonna put up crazy numbers. They're all gonna ball out. They're all gonna have their flashy moments. But when Mahomes is the bar, and you have to really compete with that. Like, you have to be able to rise your game in those big moments. And I think, I mean, I don't know how this list turned out in points, but Joe Burrow really has that vibe to him where I trust him the most in those moments.
What do you think the order should be, 1 through 3? And then based off of, like, hearing the answers, how we ranked it, like, what do you think it is?
Yeah, in my opinion, I would go Joe Burrow 2, Lamar Jackson 3, and Josh Allen 4.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I would have it in my personal opinion.
And then Mahomes 1.
And Mahomes is number 1, yeah. So I'd have Mahomes 1, Joe Burrow 2. I like Lamar Jackson more than Josh Allen, personally, so I have him at 3, and I put Josh Allen at 4.
I think it would go Mahomes, Burrow, and then I have Josh Allen, and then Lamar. So
Yeah.
let's tally this shit up, huh?
Let's do it. I think your list will be the list that we end up on, if I had to guess, but we'll see. We'll find out.
Damn. So we have Joe Burrow finishing off with 19.
Okay.
Then Josh Allen's 15, and Lamar just sits at 14.
Wow, it was by 1 point.
Which is, like, perfect for what we thought, because what we just said of our predictions.
Yeah.
Lamar and Josh Allen are pretty much a coin flip, so if they can't be tied and they win by 1, I agree with that. I think it would go Mahomes, Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar. I think that's easily the best 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, and then no one's...
Yeah.
I don't care.
And I think it's so interesting, right? Because if you weighted certain categories, like, for example, how much do you weigh durability versus, like, accuracy, right? Like, I would argue accuracy is more important than durability. So
Yeah.
I think them being that close, 14, 15, just shows you that, like, they're basically equal in what they are. Like, Lamar's probably more skilled, but Josh Allen's probably a better, like, playoff clutch performer, right? Like, that's the difference in their style of play. Whereas Joe Burrow is just fucking him. Joe Burrow is just good at all of it. He just can't run. That's the only difference.
But it doesn't matter if you
can throw that ball.
can throw that ball, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you surprised, or do you feel like that's pretty much what you expected?
I expected this. I'm just surprised that Lamar came that close to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious, like, what did you guys think? Did you guys play along as well? Like, in the comments, I want to hear what your list turned out like, and if you agree or disagree with ours, because I think that we hit it on the head, in my opinion.
Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar. Lock it in. Who's number 5? I'm just curious.
Honest opinion, like right now.
I would take Jane Daniels, honestly. Right now.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that, but I think what could end up happening next year is, like, he has a CJ Stroud year, and it's just like he has a calm. Like, for me, number 5, it's probably I'm between Daniels, Hurts, and Dak probably for that 5 spot.
Oh my God. Dak?
Remember, he was second in MVP voting 2 years ago.
I know, but
Like last year he didn't play. Fun fact, again, this is for non-Cowboys fans. I know it's like a whatever, they don't like him, but every full season he's played, we've had at least 10 wins. Like, just think about that. You know, he's the second most game-winning drive since he was drafted. Like, people think, again, because of those playoff moments, which is fair, but as an actual, like, passer, his last full year, he was the most pass touchdowns and the most passing yards. So I don't know. I have Dak firmly in my top 7.
I would put him in the top 7. I would do Daniels. I would do Herbert, Hurts, Baker, Matt Stafford, and Dak. Or Dak, Matt Stafford.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's probably...
I think I love Baker, but I don't objectively off talent, I can't put him in the top 7 or 8. I think he's probably in that 10, 11, 12 range, around that like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think Stafford has a really good shout to be in that top 8. I like Stafford a lot.
His stats aren't really everything, but he's just like a winning...
He's a good player. He's just a good quarterback.
Yeah, and outside of those top 5, it's like a big drop-off, you know, or 4.
Top 4, yeah.
Top 4.
You can anywhere from 5 to 12. There's so many guys you can argue for. Herbert, Stroud, Daniels, Dak, Hurts. You could even argue like Goff. You could argue Baker, Stafford. There's so many quarterbacks in that range. Like,
But that's what makes the game fun, right? Like,
yeah. Dude, this year, Drake May and Bo Nix, for all we know, could take that leap as well.
4 guys that are just clearly at the top, and like you got to beat them, and then anyone else can just step up front, and just
Yeah.
like...
Brock Purdy, I don't think he's up there, but people, I don't think so. But people argue that.
I don't know why people think he's the shit.
Overrated. Yeah, and like something I noticed is that these rookie quarterbacks like Daniels and even like Caleb Williams can easily come into that next step. And the draft just happened. So Mike actually just went to the draft party in New York. So if you want to watch that video, click on it right now. It's right here. Click on it, go watch it, and leave a like.